Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new series of videos. So I used to have in my channel Unit in Death for Warhammer 40k, where I was looking units in detail and explaining how I like to use them on the battlefield and how I see them on the battlefield. But as Warhammer 40k is changing edition, I thought that now is moment to talk about AOS. So I will talk about that unit that I like. And here I will really focus on units that I'm using. So maybe I will not have as many units as I was analyzing Warhammer 40k, but I only want to talk about units that I'm using and units that I like to use. And I will start with the Lord Celestant on Dracoth. I think for 220 points is a great choice. And yeah, here we have, he can be equipped, so he's can be equipped with the Storm Strike Glaive, the Lightning Hammer, the Thunder Axe, or the Tempestus Hammer. So normally I use what the mini is coming from. The miniature I'm using is the one from the AOS starter kit, and is the Tempestus hammer that have it's impacting in or have 3+2 hit, 2+2 wound, -1 rend, D3 damage. The sorry, and I think this is maybe it's very good. Then we have also the Thunder Axe. It's more difficult to wound, but you are guaranteed 2 damage. Have the same range as the Thunder as the Tempestuous. Then we have the Lightning Hammer that have less range, but it's like the Thunder Axe. So if you want to choose why you take the Lightning Hammer, most likely. And then we have the Storm Strike Glaive. But each of these have different rules. So the Tempestuous Hammer with the momentum, so it's giving a D3 attacks when you are charging, what is very handy. So then you increase to 3 plus D3 attacks on the charge. The Thunder Axe, you know, sorry. So the Thunder Axe add 1 to the attack of this model for each Stormcast Eternal unit from the army within 5 inches. So uh, not too bad. So if you are not attacking alone, you will add some attacks. The Lightning Hammer have if the result of a hit roll of a lightning hammer is a 6 or more, the target unit immediately suffers 2 mortal wounds. It's like the hammer of the how it's called this of the retributors. So you if you hit with a 6, you automatically do 2 wounds. Less range is not bad, and then we have the Storm Strike Glaive. The Storm Strike Glaive, what I don't like is that it's 4+2 wound versus the 2+2 wound or 3+2 wounds of the other weapons. But the Glaive, uh, so is if the model has made a charge move in the Storm Strike Glaive causes 3 damage rather than 1 and have a rend of -2. But you have to take into account that you have 4+2 wound. Although you have 1 attack more, I think I would rather, so by statistical talking, okay, so uh, the first weapon have 66% to hit plus 50% to cause a wound. We are talking there a 33% to hit and wound. So and you will do -1 rend and 1 damage. You have 4 attacks, so means that so as you said, I have 3%, so it means that more or less you will do 1 hit. Okay, if we go to the lightning hammer, it's 1/3 and one, so it's 66 and the 66 of 66, so it's 44% to hit. So it's much better. Oh, it's at least it's a little bit better, but when you hit, you do 2 damage. So it's quite similar. The only advantage is because you on 6 you can cause mortal wounds, you increase a little bit even more the abilities. The Thunder Axe is quite interesting, especially if you expect to be together with other Stormcast Eternals, because you can add 1 attack for each. That is for each for add 1 attack of this Modern Thunder for each other Stormcast Eternal unit. So it's for each unit. So normally you will add 1 or 2 attacks maximum. I don't expect that you will be surrounded of more units at 5 inches. So we have to be realistic there, unless he goes together with a lot of characters, and then each character is a different unit. But also have as the previous one 44% to hit, and then we have sorry, the last one that is 66% to hit, but then it has so it's only failing with it's have 83% to hit after that. So let's put that is to run is 80%. So we are talking that it's going to be on the order of 50% for each attack to really make a wound. And you do this 3 damage, so in average it's going to be 2. So it's a little bit less reliable than having a fixed 2, but you can do 3 damage. So it's not bad, and I think once in the assault where you add these 3 attacks is being for me the weapon that it's more interesting from all these ones. Of course, you want to equip him with the Sigmarid Thunder Shield. This is mandatory, and if you have try to find a Sigmarid shield that you can add to him, if you have just the miniature from the how it's called this from the starter kit Edge of Sigmar, because it really is the Sigmar Thunder Shield. You can reroll hit save of once, and on top, if the reroll save is successful, the shield unleashes one mortal wound to each enemy unit within 3 inches. That normally is the unit that you are fighting. So it's an extra bonus, and it's mainly to be able to reroll this one. Uh, and then we have the attacks of the Dracoth. The Dracoth will add in average 1 wound, and if you are very lucky and you roll the 6 on to make damage, then you will have rending. What was this? No, you will do d6 damage instead of one damage. What can be very interesting. So uh, it's not bad. So and then of course he have I forgot to say that he have move 10, 7 wounds, 3 plus save, and bravery 9. They also have the attack of the storm breath that it's 12 inches, and then you put a point, and then all units at 2 inches of this point is hit on 4 plus and do the 3 mortal wounds. Normally you can do the 3 mortal wounds to 1 or 2 opponent units depending how the opponent is deploying. And by finalizing with the common ability, and for me is one of the most interesting common ability, is very interesting, that is giving immune to battle shock to all Stormcast Eternals 24 inches of the model at the start of the battle shock phase. So I think he's a great support, and he's also beating quite hard on the salt. Uh, Watch out, he's not immortal, and sometimes we make this mistake. You have to be very careful with enemies that have Ren, because although you will have the shield, uh, you go to 4 plus and then you are 50-50, so each enemy wound you will only have 50% more or less to save. A little bit more because you reroll once, and then maybe you will do some mortal wounds to the enemy. But I will say that, and you only have 7 wounds, so it's not difficult to bring him down. So you want him to be supporting, and then uh, attacking other units with the support of one of your units in the army. You don't want him to attack alone. And the reason is because if he's attacking in conjunction with another unit, you can minimize the attacks to him. So he can hit quite hard, he can add quite a nice punch. It's not amazing, so to be fair, because we have 3 attacks, 3 plus D3 if you use the Tempestor's Hammer in the Salt. We are talking that you are going to do maybe 2d3 wounds, 3d3 wounds if you are lucky to the enemies. So this means between 4 to 6 wounds is not bad. Maybe less depending on the armor, of course. So because you only have running -1 on top, so he's not going to be super strong in close combat. I like him a lot because he gives a lot of reliability to your units. So this immune to battle shock at 24 inches has saved me so many battle shocks tests, and I think it's great. And on top is good, and is good to hand down. Uh, uh, enemy units that don't have high rent. And I like to use him in conjunction with the Lord Castellan that I will talk later on. But I think if you use him in conjunction with the Lord Castellan, you can put this save on 2 plus. On 2 plus, rolling once. Then he's becoming really resilient if the enemy have not ran. And I use this. You can put this Lord Celestant to block enemy unit that does not have ran that can dish a tremendous amount of attacks. I'm talking, for example, he stopped a unit of skeletons that were able to do 4 attacks each skeleton and was a unit of 20. So imagine that he was receiving 80 attacks, and at the end I just received 1 wound. Because on top, if you have the Lord Castellan, for each 6 that you roll, you are healing 1 wound. So I think this where for me the Lord Celestin is working well. So I find him there to kill enemy units that's, that does not have a lot of ren, and they have a lot of attacks to him. So he can use his ability to return some mortal wounds, and plus he's not bad. So you will rely on the battle shock. So he can hold this big horde in combat. If you want to attack uh, other heroes, I think you have better choices in the Stormcast. If you want to, you should use the mortal wounds, for example, from the retributors if you want to attack enemy heroes. Uh, mm, this is how I find him to work better for me. So it's a better support. Uh, he can finalize units that have been damaged by other units or have been damaged in the shooting phase, and he's good, very good against enemy units that does not have ren if he can work together with the Lord Castellan. Of course, uh, you have to be careful. Although 3 plus save is one of the best saves that you can find in this game, I don't think there is any 2 plus save on the game. So 3 plus the rolling ones, thanks to the shield, make him quite resilient. Take into account that he has only 7 wounds, so it's not that difficult by saturation. If the enemy have rank -1, you have to be careful. If the enemy have rank -2 or -3, you have to be extremely careful, because normally these enemies will do also more than 1 damage when they hitting you. So I don't think he's there to deal with enemy monsters or to deal with big heroes that can do a lot of rend and damage. He's very good against units that have not rend, and he can work very good against big units that have not rend, because if you can accumulate, can pile, well, can add the 2 plus save of the Lord Castellar, or if you can put him on a terrain where he will have also 2 plus save, it's going to be quite resilient there against enemy that have not ran. So I think that's all what I wanted to talk. Please let me know what do you think about the Lord Celestin, sorry, on the Dracoth. I think it's one of my favorite. Uh, I have sometimes very bad luck and he's not doing damage a lot, but it's quite it's quite survival. And this is the other point: if you get stuck in a combat that you don't want to be there, don't be shy and retreat from the combat. You can still use your command ability, so you can still give this immune to battle shock to all your units at 24 inches. Just retreat from the combat and use the liberators or any other unit to protect him while he's recovering, while he's preparing for assaulting on the next assault. Especially if you go second, retreat from the combat. Maybe you have 2 turns in a row, so you can retreat him from the combat, uh, gives avoid that he's going to be hit hard, and then charge again, where in that case you will have 3 attacks plus d3, while making him stronger. As you can see, I always thinking to have the Tempestus Hammer. I think for me is the best choice that you can have here. And yeah, and this is how I always keep him. I always go with him with the Tempestus Hammer and the shield. That's all for now. Please leave in the comment below how do you use him. Let me know if you have fight against the Lord Celestin on Dracoth. And as usual, thanks a lot for watching and see you again later. Bye.